Hey, sixth graders, happy Monday. Second to last one. That This is a weird week. We have 4 days of school, 3 days in school, plus Wednesday. Then next Friday you have off. So do I. Saturday, Sunday, Monday is Memorial Day. So take a moment and reflect on those who have served. It's a really very powerful moment. And then we come back on Tuesday, and then I think we still have a Wednesday where you don't come to school. Then it's Thursday and Friday, so it's a short week, and then one more week, and that's it. So one more Monday after today. All right, here's what we're doing. A reminder: your spelling test is tomorrow, right? As of right now, there's only one more spelling test. And you only have really 2 days between it. It'll be Thursday, we'll give it. Tuesday, we'll have it. And that will probably be it. Well, we'll see. So that's that. I also can keep coming back to the idea of questioning. Level 1 questions, level 2 questions, and level 3 questions, right? Level 1 is simple answers, yes and no, short answers. What is, do you have, when did you? Level 2 is when you are really getting deeper. So what about, why did you, or how did you? It requires an explanation. And then 3 is really about people's beliefs, opinions, stuff that's like really gets at the heart of who they are. All right. So what we're going to do is, actually, this is an in-class activity, unfortunately. But when you hear something interesting, so here's the thing, is that you're going to prepare a bunch of questions, but you don't always go by the list. Sometimes you hear something and you're like, ooh, I want to follow up that. So when you hear something interesting, you latch on to it, you go back to it, and you ask for more information. A lot of you did this with the thing we did with Malala, right? We didn't hear the whole story. You had other questions, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to, in class, we're going to try this, because I'm going to actually, someone's going to ask me this question: what was growing up in Wisconsin Rapids like? And I'm going to sort of talk through a couple of things, and then everyone's going to sort of have some follow-up questions, and we're going to sort of test this, because I will purposely drop some hints. Like if I said, growing up in Wisconsin Rapids is really interesting. It's a very blue-collar town. There wasn't a lot of diversity. But we had a really strong wrestling program, and that actually was a really big part of my maturity and growing as a person. And then I decided to leave Rapids to pursue like a different world. And since then, I can no longer live in a small town. I have to live in a like big city, right? Okay, if I stop there, think about I kind of dropped a lot of hints. I spoke for about 30 seconds. You probably could think of a few moments there to follow up with. Like if you asked me about my wrestling, I would then tell you an entirely different story. If you asked me about leaving to the big city, I would tell you about my journey into the film industry and going to Chicago and then going to LA. Those are parts of my experience. And so each one's a different story, and very, very, very different about who I am and how I came to be who I am. So that's what we're trying to do, is learn to follow up. And then in class, we're actually going to listen to this. So this is actually, I'll put this link here, but it's called Radio Rookies is the name of the website. And on the second page right there of this website, so again, there's the website. This is what we're going to listen to in class right here: making friends when you're shy. We're just going to listen to that, and then the students are going to do this. They are going to do the same thing with that person. What follow-up questions would you like to ask about the woman talking on the radio? Okay. So here's what we're doing. This is the assignment. This is where it all comes down, is that if you followed along and you've kept up with what we're doing, we are sort of moving into finding someone to interview. So last week, we decided to talk about like who we would love to interview and who we know we can get. So pragmatic means I can do it. It's doable. I totally can get there. So I'm looking for pragmatic, first and foremost, but also the dream interview, because there is an outside chance some of you could follow through and get a dream interview out of this. It's not likely, but so the assignment is to really choose. So pick your topic, who you're going to interview. And now it's time to get 10 better or deeper questions, right? To try to help get the origin story of this person. Everyone's got an origin story, the story that makes them who they are. And sometimes there are different versions of the origin. I have two, right? My story of origin is growing up in Wisconsin Rapids, and wrestling is a story. And then there's also the origin story of me and having my formative years, my 20s, being in the film industry. That's formative too. So, what you need to do, the assignment is, I want to see you forge 10 good questions that you can start with. And then you need to start tracking down your interviewee, I should say. You need to know, like, I want to know if they're confirmed, and do you have, like, have they agreed to an interview? Okay. So by the end of today, I want 10 questions, and I want to know the situation with your interviewee. Are they available? Do you have a time? And that might take a lot. That might take some question. Like, if it's in your household, then set up a time and let me know in Schoology today. If it's someone in the school, set up a time, right? And you can do this through email as well. So that doesn't mean you have to have it recorded. There are a couple ways to do that. So the 10 questions that I'm kind of asking you to do, this is what I would like ask pretty much anyone. I feel like if I don't know who I'm going to ask, these are the questions I would ask in general. And notice there's a little mix. There's 4 level 2s, there's 3 level 3s, and 3 level 1s. But here's the thing. If we start talking in this question number 1, suddenly this person tells me something I want to know, I can change. I can go away and try a different question because I suddenly want to hear something different. All right. So the 3 types of questions, the 3 types of information we're trying to get at with these is, we want background history of the person. We want a story that's important to them, and the meaning of the story, like why it's important. That's how we're going to write our interview thing. So what do you need to do? Number 1, commit to a pragmatic interview. Write your 10 questions. Attempt to contact interviewee and schedule interview. This has to be this week. It's got to be about a 30-minute time frame. You need at least 30 minutes to have an interview. Anything less is probably going to be pretty weak. You have to record the interview. You need permission. All right. Somehow you need permission so that they can, like, you can record it and get the quotes. You're going to transcribe the interview. You're going to need to pull out word for word quotes. So you got to hear the word for word. Don't try to remember it. You're going to, like, write it down as you hear it. And so the 3 ways you can do that: Zoom, phone call, or record on an iPad, right? So those are a couple of ways you can do this. Submit your 10 questions plus schedule of interview to Schoology by tomorrow. Not today, but by tomorrow. And if all this is done, then you can read. So that's kind of the way this lays out. So hopefully there are no questions and you understand what the expectations are. But again, always check with me because I can help you out if you're confused at all. Okay? All right. Take care.